Hi, thanks for calling Bodybuilding.com. I'm no pain neuron. How can I help out today? Okay, you trying to get big and shredded. I can definitely help out with that. So with this here, it's going to come down to that diet.
Thank you for calling Bodybuilding.com. This is Hall of Fame Heather. How can I help you today?
That's all right. So with this here, you're going to be able to...
Perfect.
Bring that intensity! Come on! This is your workout. Bring me what you got. Hit it!
We're gonna be supersetting biceps, triceps, and forearms and getting the most out of each one of these workouts.
Welcome back to Homebody. This is our core workout. Strong kicks, strong core.
You can recover, you can grow, you can prevent pain and injury.
We've got 3, 2, and 1.
What's up, guys? Kris Gethin here, CEO of Kaged Muscle, and today I'm going to be putting you through a chest workout. The exercises that we're going to be doing is a weighted push-up, so I'm going to be lying down, push-up. I'm going to have somebody put some weight on my back, and then I'm immediately going to lie down and I'm going to do a superset with dumbbells, so they're going to be lying dumbbell press. Those are the first 2 exercises. You're going to have to stick around to find out what the other exercises are. That's my supersets. But before we begin, I've already had my pre-workout, my pre-cage about 40 minutes ago to allow that to settle in, get the neuromuscular response, the mind-muscle connection, and obviously get the blood flow, the blood vasodilation. Now I start mixing together my intra-workout, which is Caged. So we have a brand new flavor on Bodybuilding.com that is exclusive, the Berry Blast, which tastes absolutely amazing. And remember, all of these products are naturally flavored and naturally colored. So I always take Caged during the workout to ensure that I finish my workouts as strong as I've begun. All right, so I'm gonna shake that up. I'm going to start off with a warm-up first, just to ensure that we get a lot of blood into the muscle, improve the elasticity, get that mind-muscle connection, and get the synovial fluid into our joints, which is that lubricant. All right, so to begin with, we have the weighted push-up. I'm going to do it without weight to begin with, just to warm up. And I'll probably do about 10, 15 repetitions here. And then I go onto the dumbbell floor press here. So I'll be lying down, grab hold of a couple of dumbbells, move the mic over so I don't crush that. And I'll explain why I do it in this fashion in a second. Okay, so warmed up there, 15 reps on each. Now the reason why I'm doing a weighted push-up and a press from the floor is for a couple of things. Number one, I want to work on the peak contraction of the chest, really try to target the inner portion of the pecs. And number two, I have shoulder surgery tomorrow. I've had an issue with my shoulder for a couple of years, namely 2 torn tendons, and I have to have my clavicle shaved from a past injury when I went over the handlebars, downhill mountain biking, and separated my AC joint. So I'm having that fixed tomorrow. So what I find, if you do have any shoulder issues, when you do something like a floor press, it's much more stable on your rotator cuff than say a bench press. And when you're doing a dumbbell press from the floor, you're not overextending and overreaching and stretching that rotator cuff, so you can really get a good pec workout without putting too much stress placed upon the deltoid. See, as I get a bit older, thankfully I get a little bit smarter. All right, so I'm gonna start with the weighted push-ups here. May I have some assistance, please? Hold on, let's click on there. Okay. Yeah, I'll have both on, please. So you can just do one at a time if that's comfortable for you. Where do you want me lying? About here? Yeah? Okay, all right. So you can just put it on the top of my back. There, please. A little bit higher, please. Yeah. Thank you. Lovely jubbly. And once I've finished, I'll just go back onto all fours like that, and you can take your time getting them off if possible. Okay. Oh, thank you. Whew. Wow, both of them at the same time. Check you out. Showing off. Thank you. All right, and then straight on to the floor press here. Hey. Whew. I hit the spot. So I did 15 repetitions, I think it was, with a weighted push-up, and then about 10 repetitions here. Normally this weight would feel quite a bit lighter, but performing it as part of a superset, you pre-fatigue your chest, so you find it really isolates your pecs and you can't get that much weight or repetitions out. Yes?
We have a question from Facebook. Sean asks, any tips for increasing vascularity?
Any tips for increasing vascularity? So number one is fat loss. If, for instance, you've got like a little bit of fat covering your veins here, you'll never see your veins. Number two, well, there's a couple of other issues behind this. Some people are genetically more vascular than others. But number three, you can obviously work to get more glycogen, carbohydrates, into your diet, providing that you're fat-free, and that will increase your vascularity. When you're trying to increase your vascularity and your pump, when you're in the gym, it makes sense to have plenty of pure citrulline in your system, not citrulline malate or anything like that. So make sure that your pre-workout, obviously I use pre-cage, I have citrulline in there. Obviously during my workout, I have my in-caged, there's citrulline in there as well. This is a blood vasodilator, so it'll help improve that blood flow. I take citrulline every day, especially when I'm flying, to increase my blood flow when you're in a pressurized cabin.
Derek on YouTube asks, what are the benefits of warming up? I know you mentioned surgery. What are the benefits of warming up?
Warming up. The benefits of warming up, a couple of things. Not only does it warm you up physically, mentally as well. So you're able to get that neuromuscular response that much quicker from when you go heavier. Because if you were to go heavy immediately, number one, it's going to enhance the likelihood of injury. But number two, your brain's not ready for it. You know, much like if you know how to cycle, even if you haven't ridden a bike for a couple of years, you kind of go back onto it, you know what you're doing. But you're going to be able to perform at your best? Very unlikely. So what you do is always warm up first, get yourself back into the rhythm, and it's the same in bodybuilding as opposed to anything else. If you look at the 100-meter sprint at the Olympics, they don't just go out there and hit their sprint. They do some warm-ups first. Yay? Okay. Can I have your help, please, madame? Thank you. thank you. Ooh. Two. Okay. Oh, thank you. Whew. There's one, where's the other one? Oh. Now the main thing is when you're doing these exercises, of course, you're going to use repetitions and numbers as a gauge, but you should be working to absolute failure. So failure meaning you cannot do one more repetition even if you wanted to. So what that does is take your muscles out of its comfortable environment, makes it uncomfortable, and the way it has to adapt is by getting stronger and growing bigger. So you'll notice that when I'm performing these exercises, I've got my wrists strapped up just to make sure that my wrists are locked straight. And now I could feel just a little bit of wobble within my elbows. And if I'm going heavy, especially on triceps, like on lying tricep extensions or anything overhead, I always make sure that I wear elbow sleeves as well. So maybe that's something that you should consider. Very supportive wrist straps and elbow sleeves.
Kevin's watching on YouTube and he asks, do muscle imbalances fix themselves over time?
No. They can, like for instance, I'm going to have a muscle imbalance when I have my shoulder surgery. And over time, yeah, it can help. And if you are working one side, because the fascia that runs through the system, it will contract and you won't atrophy as much on the other side. But there could be other issues. For instance, if you have one lat that's bigger than the other, don't think a muscle imbalance is going to fix itself just because you're doing lat pull downs. You could potentially have an impinged nerve throughout your spine, so you may need to see a chiropractor or an osteopath or something like that to unpinge that, so then your left side could fire again, for example.
We have a question from Facebook. Any tips on increasing upper chest size?
Yeah. So number one, what I suggest, a lot of people do incline pressing. First, I'd suggest that you do a fly motion. So that could be incline cable flies, incline pec deck, or incline dumbbell flies first to really isolate that muscle underneath the clavicle, and make sure that you do that fly before you press, but make sure that you always have your shoulders back so you don't bring in too much anterior delt. It's going to be more isolation on your upper pec. And I'll go very, very steep when I do my flies because I know that I'm not going to be incorporating my anterior delts. When I start doing incline press, I take it down a little bit to say 40, 45 degrees.
Do carbs make you fat? Question from YouTube.
Does what?
Do carbs make you fat?
The carbs make you fat, yeah, if you exceed your basal metabolic rate or, what you're actually burning off. You can put on weight on protein if you take too much of it. Protein will take you out of ketosis. So if you take too much of anything, yeah, it can make you fat. And obviously the form of carbohydrates you should be very conscious of. If you're going to eat chips all day, then yeah, you're going to get fat. But, it's your slower complex carbs and maybe your fibrous carbs you should be concentrating on. Yeah? Okay. I'm like the bionic man now. I'm all sleeved up and ready to go. All right. Let's see if these will give me any assistance. Okie dokie. Let's hit it. Last set, best set now. So you'll notice when I'm doing this press that I am still retracting my shoulder blades and sticking my chest out so I don't have any assistance from my anterior delts. Okay, thank you. Whew. Lovely. I hit the spot, so it felt a lot better when I had the elbow straps on that time. And occasionally what you can do in between your sets, learned this from Hani Rambod many years ago as part of his FST7 training, is that you can pose, you can squeeze your chest in between sets, contract it for about 15 seconds, and then in between your following set, you'd focus on stretching, elongating the muscle. Again, help you get that mind-muscle connection. So shout out to Hani Rambod there for that.
On Facebook, Jake asks, any news on when the Kaged Muscle Multivitamin is coming out?
Yeah, as I've been telling everybody since the very beginning, it'll be the end of 2019. You know, we've been working on it for a long time. You know, it's all organic, it's all natural. You know, it's not synthetic, it's not made in a lab. And we got a special delivery system on it. And not only that, every ingredient, every micronutrient is in its efficacious amount needed for the active individual.
What is your diet like currently? Question from
Currently,
Facebook.
I'm fasting. I'm doing a lot of intermittent fasting at the moment. So I haven't eaten yet. I've already gone for a long trail run this morning. The only thing that I'd say with my diet is that it's a controlled fast. Call it cheating if you want, because I still take my supplements. I still have my gallon jug over there with my glutamine, my BCAAs, my HydroCharge. Still have my pre-workout, gonna have my post-workout. I'm just fasting from food. So I'm not eating any food, from the evening until about 4 o'clock, 16-hour fast. And I've just been trying that out for anti-aging purposes, autophagy. As I have my shoulder surgery tomorrow, I'll probably go vegan for about a month. I do that once a year. But it's generally, it's instinctive as well. You know, if I wake up in the morning and go, you know what I want to eat today, I still eat as I always do. If you look at my muscle building video trainer on Bodybuilding.com, it's still the same sort of diet. It hasn't changed much. I still have my carbohydrates, but I eat a lot of fibrous carbs now, just trying to make sure that I fill my body's cravings of micronutrients. So I always have cravings every single day, as weird as it sounds, for salads. I will go across town to different restaurants looking for the best salad. And you know what? The best place, and I still haven't found a place in many countries better than the Cheesecake Factory vegan salad, but I have salmon put on top of it. It's amazing. Tell them I sent you. I don't get discount.
Jason on YouTube says, hey Chris, my inner chest is really lacking. Could you recommend an exercise?
Yeah, I just did them. So this is one of the exercises. There's another exercise that we could possibly, if we have time, we'll do it at the end, but I'll demonstrate it quickly for you. It's called a hexagon fly. So you can hexagon press this and hexagon fly, where you come down like that, get a good stretch and squeeze at the top. And when I say squeeze, you pull those plates together at the top and squeeze it hard. And then when you can't do any more, you press it out. So the floor press really helps, and I find that helps as well, squeezing. Or if you're doing dumbbell flies, when you come together, don't just stop there and come back down. Squeeze those dumbbells together as hard as you possibly can, as if you're holding cables. Okay, dokie. All right, so we've done 3 sets there. Now we're gonna do an incline press, superset, with a cable crossover. Okay, so we're gonna be flipping over yonder now. You want me to pull this forward, guys, or is that okay? All right, can someone film this? Got somebody crawling on the floor here trying to avoid the camera, but I think it's much more entertaining than listening to me. Ooh. Okay, same with this exercise. Instead of focusing on the weight, I'm focusing on stressing the muscle as much as I possibly can, making it as hard as it possibly can on my pecs by sticking my chest out, using my mind-muscle connection to contract my pecs at all times. Chest stuck right out. Okay, then cable crossover. So hit the upper pecs. Now I'm going straight to the lower pecs. All right, wow, that hit the spot. So you'll notice with 70 pounds, that's relatively light, but I made that very, very heavy. You know, I couldn't do any more reps there, making it as hard as I possibly can. Muscles have no idea what number is written on the dumbbells. It only understands the stress that you place upon it.
Facebook wants to know, what is your opinion on TRX straps for workouts?
Yeah, it's great, perfect. You know, like I go to a music festival in a couple of weeks' time. I won't be able to work out my left side, but I'm considering taking my TRX with me, finding a tree somewhere, strapping them up, and doing some rows, some pulls, some lunges in there. I think it's great, especially on the road, and something different to mix things up.
Facebook also wants to know, what is the difference between your new Micro Pure Whey Isolate and Recaged?
Okay, very, very different. So if you look at Recaged is your post-workout formula, hence why I've got it in the gym with me, because I'll take this immediately after my workout before I do cardio, because it makes complete sense that you have the fastest digesting protein, so you can immediately uptake the full scoop that you have in here and shuttle it straight into the muscles, okay? You need to have that anti-catabolic response immediately. Then you can have your anabolic response about an hour later with your slower digesting proteins coming from a solid food source, and then you would add your carbohydrates. If you have carbohydrates post-workout, then that's going to sedate the natural release of your growth hormone, hence why I have it an hour after. Now with the Micro Pure Whey Isolate, it's exactly the same protein isolate. It has the pro-hydrolyze enzyme that breaks down a fraction of that protein even smaller without the usual hydrolysis of heat or chemicals. However, it doesn't contain the beta power or the added glutamine or the creatine HCl. So you can have it in the morning in your oats, like I had it this morning. I had it yesterday morning. Tomorrow morning I'll have it, because I won't be fasting tomorrow morning, after my surgery that is, sorry. So I'll have that in my oats because I love milk, so I have vanilla flavor in there. But you can have it in your cooking, you can have it throughout the day, you can have it in a shaker bottle just to increase your protein content throughout the day if you don't want to eat all the time.
Continuing on supplements, can females take Ferrodrox? If so, how long can they continue on it, or do they have to phase off?
Okay, so females are recommended to take it to balance and control your estrogen levels. So you wouldn't take the 2 capsules as suggested for males. I'm experimenting at the moment with 3, 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. But what females will do is take 1 capsule a day. You'd take it for 8 weeks, And then you don't have to, but I suggest you phase off for 2 weeks. And then back on 8 weeks, 2 weeks off. 8 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Yay? All right. Let's hit my set here then. Oh. Oh, wow. That hit it.
Scott on Facebook wants to know, what is your opinion for the best rep range for maximum growth?
I'm very different to the majority of people out there. So today, because I want to cover a lot of exercises in the amount of time that I've got, I'm going at your relative repetitions of like 10 to 15 reps. But I truly believe you don't want to leave any stone unturned. So you want to tap into your type 1, your type 2A, and your type 2B muscle fibers. Hence why most of my workouts have 30 to 50 repetitions as my higher end of the reps, going down as low as 5 to 10 repetitions in the same workout. So a DTP, which stands for Dramatic Transformation Principle, is the concept that I came up with. So for instance, you choose like 2 or 3 exercises per body part. Let's say we're doing barbell and preacher for biceps. I'd start off with like 40 or 50 repetitions. Then I'll go a little bit heavier and do 30 or 40. Then heavier again and do like 20. Then heavier again and do 10 or maybe as low as 5. And then I'll go back down using a different exercise, maybe barbell curls, doing 5, 10, 20, 30, finishing off at 40 or 50. So my rep gauge is between 5 and 50.
Bishal on YouTube wants to know, what is the best stack for beginners?
Best stack for beginners? Well, I'd say you definitely want a protein, because if you're not used to the amount of protein consumption needed to recover, providing that you're working out very hard, you definitely want a protein supplement. So I'd suggest something like the MicroPure Whey Isolate, you know, as your anytime sort of protein. And then you'd want to have glutamine, because I honestly feel that glutamine has so many benefits, you know, providing the, you know, cellular source for your stomach. So I think it's great for the gut microbiome. It's good for maintaining a good immune system. So they actually feed glutamine to burn victims in like some hospitals in Europe, and wound victims, so people who've suffered a wound. We internally wound ourselves when we scar our muscle tissue in the gym. So I think glutamine is the second option that's very good. And if you find that you're somebody that gets distracted, or you don't get focused, or you don't get psyched up in the gym or whatever, then pre-workout. And that's why, you know, I suggest pre-caged to a lot of people starting out, you know, because a lot of people go in there, they're a little bit distracted, or they don't push the intensity as they possibly could. So I'll help you get into the zone, you know.
And just a fun question, what is your choice team for this year's World Cup?
Oh, for the Rugby World Cup? Well, it's going to be Wales.
It says just World Cup. Could be soccer too.
Yeah, I don't follow soccer, I don't follow football, I don't follow any other sport really. I follow more, rugby is the only team sport that I follow. I've always just been into independent sports, so that could be motocross, it could be Formula One, something like that. You know, I'm not really into the team sports much, other than rugby. I always watch the rugby, but of course, being Welsh, I have to support the Welsh, man. I went to the Rugby World Cup. in Australia in 2003. Most amazing time of my life that was. There's a sea of red there that I could join in with. Okay. Last set, best set, and this superset. So you'll notice doing this superset now, I'm targeting my upper pecs and lower pecs. As my upper pecs are recovering, my lower pecs are getting targeted. Oh. All right, okay. So we've done 2 superset exercises there, back to back, 3 sets each. So I guess we have time for me to do the Hexagon Flies, don't we? Perfect.
Shout out to Kaged from Jiggly Bean on YouTube saying it's the best protein they've ever had.
Awesome, thank you very much.
And YouTube wants to know, what is the benefit to Ferrodrox and taking a testosterone?
Okay, so the benefits of taking Ferrodrox is it's a very important supplement, because if you look at statistics over the past 10 to 20 years, you'll see a massive decline in people's testosterone. You know, it was said at one point people in their 40s, they have the lower testosterone. Well, they're testing people today in their early 20s who have testosterone levels of people that are, you know, in their 80s. And that's because we're exposed to various things such as EMF rays, to a lot of plastics, a lot of contaminants, genetically modified foods, glyphosate, stress, lack of sleep, etc., etc. When you put activity and exercise in there as well, more free radical damage, more cortisol level inclusion, so testosterone comes down even more. So people are feeling down, they're feeling weak, they're feeling depressed. So what we try to do is maintain people's healthy, natural testosterone levels. And that's why we've been testing Ferrodrox, or I've been testing it since early 2015, and just came out with it a couple of months ago. And yeah, of course, I'm going to be biased and say how amazing it is, but just check out the reviews, see what what other people say. I've been advising everyone to have their blood work done before taking Ferrodrox, and then have it done a couple of months after. And people are showing great increases in their natural testosterone levels.
Looper wants to know, what is your plans for the future in the fitness industry?
My plans for the future in the fitness industry. Well, number one, I want to continue doing what I'm doing, because I think I'm one of the luckiest people in the world to have this platform, to speak to you, having Bodybuilding.com right on my doorstep here in Boise. I don't want to move from Boise, and I don't want to separate from you guys here. So I want to continue to explore new things, new adventures, new sports, new training styles, and bring them to you. All I want to do is provide more value than what you pay for. Again, what I'm trying to do is reflect what I wanted as I was coming up through the fitness industry and the bodybuilding industry, where I didn't have that much connection to people, and people didn't tell me much about supplements or the way to train specifically for my needs. And I'd say that's my goal, is just to continue on that path and provide more platforms. You know, I just started a podcast just to get that message out to, because if you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with a separation, if you just want to increase your confidence, if you want to improve your health, so when you're older, you're not stuck in an old people's village, looking out the window, wishing you're outside, you are actually that person outside, hiking, mountain biking, working out, then hopefully I can provide some information that will allow that become a reality in the future. Yay? Okay, so let's go on to the Hexagon Flies over yonder. So I've got 2 barbell plates set up here, and I've got 2 45-pound plates on the side here. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take that out nice and wide and then bring it in to perform a lying fly. So the straighter you have your arms, obviously the further that leverage is gonna be, the harder it's gonna be on your pecs. So what I like to do is start out relatively wide, depending if my shoulder will take it. And then as it gets harder, I'll bring my arms in closer so I'm almost pressing at the end. But when we fly, bring those plates in, squeeze there for a second, contract, and then back down, making sure that you're sticking your pecs out and retracting your shoulders the whole time. Wow, that's a killer exercise, but I love it. Oh, you can manipulate the weight within that set, obviously in ways that you can't with when you're pushing a dumbbell or a barbell, because that's a fixed weight. You can actually maneuver the weight, the resistance. Yeah.
Raul on YouTube wants to know, should I take creatine before or after my workout, or just get the 5 grams in at some point during the day?
No, before and after. So depending on what supplement you're taking, like if you're taking a pre-caged, it's already got your creatine HCl in there. If you're taking the re-caged, the post-workout protein, it's already got your creatine in there. But if you're just taking it as a standalone, take your 5 grams. If you're taking a creatine monohydrate, that is, 5 grams before and 5 grams after. If you're taking a creatine HCl, then obviously you take it dependent on your body weight, but you should also take it on your non-training days as well. So what I generally do, not today, but on my non-training days, in here I'll have my HydroCharge, my fermented glutamine, my fermented BCAAs, my citrulline, and my creatine HCl. On my training days, because I've already got it in my pre and post workout, I just have everything in there bar the citrulline and the creatine HCl. So it's easy, you're getting a drip feed of it throughout the day.
When is your next podcast going to be released?
Next week. It's every Tuesday, every week the podcast is on. So I just released an episode yesterday. I put on my socials today. I did an interview. I had my very first guest yesterday. I haven't had any guests on the show since I started, but that guest is Dorian Yates. So I got some good insights from Dorian, how he lives today in comparison to how he lived when he was winning Mr. Olympias.
That's a good segue into another question from Roderick on YouTube. What do you think of Dorian Yates' training style?
Ah, funny. Yeah, like I followed Dorian's style of training for many, many years. You know, we've been good friends for many, many years now. And I did follow that HIIT style of training, but what I found is that I just came up against way too many injuries. Like I was squatting 7 plates a side, I was dumbbell pressing 170 pounds. Yeah, I got some growth out of it, no doubt about it, but man, I had some inflammation and, you know, niggling injuries. So I wasn't enjoying my training, and training is therapeutic for me. If I'm not enjoying it, it's not worth it. So I had to change up my training dramatically. That's why I do like the DTP style of training now. But, you know, each to their own. If you are going to follow it, I'd definitely suggest cycling it. So maybe do it for 6 to 8 weeks on and then do something that's a little bit more volume and intensity based. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, that was failure. I almost fell on my face.
Earlier you talked about needing very fibrous carbs. Do you have any examples that you personally love?
Yeah, so when I break my fast, I'll generally eat a lot of raw vegetables, and then I will follow that up with my cooked vegetables. So I'll eat asparagus, zucchini, tomatoes, cucumber, lettuce, kimchi, sauerkraut. What other, like I like to go for the heirloom tomatoes, I love them. I'll have mushrooms, I'll have broccoli, I'll have cauliflower. I kind of just mix it up, and I normally have just a massive bowl, and then I'll add my protein after that, along with my carbohydrates, you know, my complex carbs and fats.
What is your opinion on the 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight? How many grams should I take?
Well, it all depends if you're in a muscle building phase or in a fat loss phase. If you're on a muscle building phase, you're probably looking at about 1.3, 1.5 grams. But if you're on a fat loss phase, yeah, it could be as low as, 1 gram. You know, depending on, it all comes down to, again, how intense your training is, how much volume, how many days, well, how much frequency, you know, are you doing a crap load of cardio in there as well? So it'll all have to change dependent on your activity level. You know, I'm obviously hitting cardio like twice a day for a couple of hours, you know, so I have to bump mine up a little.
Zareth on YouTube wants to know, is this workout for both men and women?
All my workouts, every single one of my video trainers, every single one of my articles, every workout is for men and women. It makes no difference if you're a man or woman. It's only going to change dependent on your goals. So if a female wants to work more booty, for instance, they got to train legs a little bit more or glutes a little bit more. But our insertions and our attachments, our muscle bellies are exactly the same. You know, it's not like comparing a completely different animal here. Both humans, male and female, are the same. So both would train exactly the same within a gym. When I train, a lot of the time, my girlfriend trains with me. She doesn't look anything like me, but she's still working the same muscle group the same way.
Travis on YouTube wants to know, where can I get that KM tank top?
This KM tank top, well, we do have Kaged muscle tank tops available on the website, but this is one that Gasp made me, actually. So this particular tank top is a Gasp. That's a Gasp brand, which is sold on Bodybuilding.com. You know, I just stuck KM on it. All right, ready? Last set, best set. Two. Oh. Hit the spot. Wow, we're doing pretty good for time. I must be going intense. I'm going to throw more exercises in if you guys want.
Paul wants to know, do you have any new flavors of Recaged coming out?
Pre-caged.
Recaged.
Oh, Recaged. Yeah, we're always working on new flavors, but you have to keep in mind, like the thing is, I get asked every day, are you working on a new flavor of pre-cage, in-cage, recage? We work on new flavors 24/7. Every single day we are working on new flavors, but because number one, they're naturally flavored, and number two, we have very high amounts of ingredients in our products, it takes us on average 9 months for us to flavor a product. So if you look at pre-cage, for instance, that's a 31.9 gram scoop of ingredients that all taste pretty foul if left unflavored. So when you're naturally flavoring that, it takes a long time for it to get just right. And sometimes we'll go through like 13 batches that we test until we go, okay, the 14th one was perfect. We'll put that out. So we're always working on them, guys. It just takes time because we do it the right way.
Robert on Facebook wants to know, what do you do for your cravings if
For my
you
cravings?
don't crave your salad?
Yeah, not the salad. Well, there's two things. When it comes to supplements, I'd say this is it. I drink Hydrocharge all day, every day. So I drink quite a lot of fluid. I'll go through like a couple of these bottles over, like a gallon and a half. And because that flavor tastes so awesome and refreshing, sometimes what I'll do if I'm getting a major craving, I will actually put that in carbonated water. So, I can't remember those carbonated water cans that are very popular. LaCroix, something like that. So I'll add hydrocharge to that. That helps. The other thing that I do is I'll have our casein. So our casein, the Kaged Muscle casein, mixes very, very thick. So I always have it like a pudding. Dependent on where I am in my diet, I will mix that with some water, very thick, and I may add some chopped nuts, some seeds in there, maybe some hemp seeds, some sunflower seeds, and then I'll add some fruit in there, and that could be some strawberries, some blueberries, some cranberries, and I'll eat that, and that always crushes my cravings.
What are the benefits of doing cardio before or after your workout?
Okay, I never do cardio immediately before workouts. Immediately before. That's like kind of running your engine out of gas before going to the race when you're in practice. You need to save your energy, your calorie surplus, if muscle building is your goal, for when you're in the gym. So what I will always do, I will work out, and then immediately after my workout is when I take my recaged. Then immediately after I've taken my recaged is when I'll do my cardio, because I'm staying in an anti-catabolic environment then whilst I'm doing my cardio. Plus, I've saved all my energy, my calories, and my strength for my weights workout.
Do you have any tips for post-workout stretching?
Post-workout stretching? Well, I will, if I do any stretching before my workout or during my workout, or I'd say more so before, it's more of a dynamic, it's an active stretch. So for instance, as an example, if I'm stretching my legs, my hamstrings and my glutes, I'll stretch, and then the other side, and then the other side. But if I'm doing my stretches following my workout, then they're always static. I'll do my static stretch, so I could be stretching my hamstrings, my chest or whatever, and I'll do that for about 10 minutes after my workout. The reason being, I stretch quite a bit usually during my workout, didn't do it today, but what I'm trying to do is elongate that fascia as much as I possibly can to allow more blood get into the area, which will carry oxygen-rich blood, carry nutrient-rich blood to assist with recovery. And by stretching this fascia all the time, it gives my muscles more room to grow.
We have a suggestion from YouTube. They want you to do your Plates of Pain workout live next.
Okay, we can do that.
And then where can everybody find you on social media?
Okay, they can find me on social media. On Instagram, it's Kris Gethin, that's KrisGethin. Same on my Facebook page. Kaged Muscle, Kaged Muscle, Muscle, on Body Space and on Twitter. And you can ask me any questions there, and I will answer to anything, so you can call me anything. All right, guys, so thank you very much for joining me. If you have just followed this workout, make sure that you have your post-workout protein immediately after your session, because your recovery always dictates your workout the following day. So if you don't recover in here, don't expect to have a good workout tomorrow. All right, well, thank you very much for joining. Please leave some comments below on what you would like to hear and see from me next time. Peace out.